As I make this video, it is football Sunday. It is the kickoff week, the first Sunday of football season. And for many people, like me in the past, that means food. Pizza, chips, sauce, anything. Macaroni, Chinese food, everything's game. Everything's game. I just want to share on the subject of food and football, along with food and TV. I used to be morbidly obese. I got up to 350 pounds. I got all the way down to 150 pounds, lost approximately 200 pounds, all natural. And, now I'm probably right around 200 pounds. I probably could stand to lose 20 pounds, but I'm very healthy. All I eat is pretty much a plant-based diet. That being said, when I was morbidly obese, and I had a great time doing it, so I want to be honest and fair, is that football season, and football and sports, I would equate with sitting in front of my big screen TV and eating food. And for that matter, it is said there are scientific studies that show that when you watch TV and when you eat food simultaneously, you'll eat more. It's like a double pleasure hormone that's released through the mind. And I believe it. Now, what am I saying? That we shouldn't eat food and watch TV? No, I mean, I got to be realistic too. I mean, I sit in my car, I live full time out of my car. I sit in my car and I watch different YouTube videos on my phone. So same thing. But I am mindful of that principle that you can pretty much eat yourself numb watching TV and just, shoveling stuff in your mouth. And again, it's fun to watch football, and it adds an enjoyment of life, but I just want to say that those were really Sunday, just, Sunday for the, first game that would be at 1 p.m., I would buy a large mushroom pie. I would eat that pie. It would last me about 3 o'clock or so. Then at 5 o'clock, I'd order a Chinese spot. I'd order General Tso's chicken, a couple egg rolls, and I eat that for the nighttime games. And then I pick on stuff in between. Maybe I'll go outside for a bit, but, and that just really spiraled me. It was very enjoyable. So again, I want to be fair, but I just want you to be mindful. I'm just bringing it up to be mindful that food and football and food and TV will equate to overeating, and mainly overeating unhealthy stuff. Does it really matter? I know it does add a level of joy to life, but it also does add a level of suffering, right? Because I got to a point where it was a struggle to tie my shoes and really to get up and move. And so, even now, if I overeat healthy stuff, at least I still have agility, that I can get up, that I can do things, because it's very hard. And I have compassion, because I know the struggle with food is very real. I mean, people talk about drugs. People talk about, the struggle with all these different addictions. The struggle with food is very underrated, very underrated. And because society doesn't really care. Like, society, this is where I have a problem with society. They'll put up a Chipotle's, they'll put up a Chick-fil-A, they'll put up a McDonald's on every street corner, and that's not looked down upon. But if you have a liquor store, and if you have, somebody selling weed on the side of every corner, it's looked upon as if, that's not healthy. And that stuff's not healthy either. But, let me tell you something. I always say Chick-fil-A will kill more people than a liquor store. Obesity is right under smoking. Obesity and obesity-related diseases are the number one cause of preventable deaths. So in actuality, statistically, Chick-fil-A will have more to do with death, with more to do with premature death, with preventable deaths than liquor. I'm fumbling to get that out, but I think you guys get the point. I could rewind this and I can make it real nice, but we have to be mindful. I understand. I like food. I just had a couple bananas and a couple healthy nutritional bars. So, even that you overeat. I'm probably 20 pounds overweight now, but I'm telling you, a lot better shape than just sitting in front of the TV and eating a large mushroom pizza and then ordering Chinese food. It's enjoyable. I don't want to take that experience away from you in life, but I do want to share that you need to be mindful. When you watch football, when you watch sports, you're going to eat more, and chances are you're going to eat more unhealthy stuff. It's just the way we are wired. So I'm not bringing this up to shame anybody. I'm bringing it up so you're mindful, so that now when you're in front of that big screen TV, look around at all the food choices that you have in front of you. And chances are 90 to 95% of them are going to be totally unhealthy, no matter if you at your house or your friend's house. And there probably also will be liquor involved. Again, should you not enjoy some of these things of life? You have to make that decision. I don't want to tell you how to live. I'm just sharing my life. I'm sharing that when I was at my worst physical condition, it was, sitting in front of the TV a big portion of the time, watching sports, shoveling food down my throat. And most of it was unhealthy food. And I would wait, till I finish it all, till I fully stuff myself. I'll roll over, watch a little bit of sports, wake up a couple hours later, and go to the next food choice. And then it gets to the point where you can barely tie your shoe. It gets to the point where it's tough to wipe your butt. It gets to the point where it's just tough to get around. And when you're severely overweight, life, we already know that life can be unpleasant in this world. It just makes life more unpleasant. So yes, food adds a level of joy to life, but overeating unhealthy food also adds a level of unnecessary suffering. And it is the number 2 cause of preventable deaths in America. We need to be very mindful of that. I have compassion because I realize the struggle with food is very hard. I still, struggle with it myself. I mean, thank God I have certain good habits, but I understand. I don't want to shame you. If you're overweight, you may not ever get it together, and I understand. I love you. I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing my life. I'm sharing my journey. I'm sharing, please be mindful. Please be careful. And even if you can't get it together, I mean, we're still cool. I love you. You're on my heart. And I only say it's only by the grace of God that I'm, who knows? I don't get prideful that I'll never go back to, being extremely overweight. I'm trying my hardest not to, I never forget, I'll close on this. I used to go with a friend to AA. They were like an alcoholic and a drug addict. And, one guy got up and he was like, yeah, I'm just getting up. My name is blah, 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 blah. And he goes, I've been 30 years sober without a drink. He goes, but I realized that I'm only one drink away from being an alcoholic. And, when he first said he was like 30 years sober, I said to myself, this guy hasn't had a drink in 30 years. What the heck is he doing in this meeting? You know what I mean? And then when he said, like, I'm one drink away from being an alcoholic, what stuck to me is the guy was humble. He realized that at any moment he could backslide and that he was diligent. He had a spirit of urgency to protect his sobriety. And I think even if that guy would fall, like he was, he wasn't prideful in his recovery. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not prideful in my recovery of food, and how it can go down. I realize that any of us, especially when we're emotional, we want to overeat. I realize how sensitive it is to beat addiction. So, but I learned that lesson from that guy. I thought it was a great story. Not to say you have to go to meetings, or anything like that. It's your journey. You got to figure that out. But, we can't become prideful if we do overcome it, because at any moment, any of us, including me, we could go backwards. So I'm just sharing these thoughts as it's football Sunday, the first Sunday of the year as far as opening season, and how food relates to sports and watching TV, and all that plays a part, in your mental well-being, your physical well-being, and then eventually your emotional well-being. So to me, again, it's all about, having fun in life, but also self-improvement, So I wanted to share that. I hope you're doing well and stay inspired.